She falls asleep. I'm sitting on a bed, puzzled. 30 years ago I pushed away a pile of records on the floor by the dance set. Old records of old music, the symphonies of Beethoven, Mendelssohn and Brahms, dismissed with a wave of the hand. Old hat. Don't you have something better? Don't you have music by someone who's alive? I lean back against the bed, watching the girl with long fair hair as she shuffles records and plays the Rolling Stones. The house is old. The floor is wooden. Floorboards slightly twisted, black with knots. She leans back against me. I put my arms around her, squeeze her breasts as we listen to the songs so long ago. Now I'm sitting on a bed, puzzled. There are half a dozen records, old records of old music. The symphonies of Beethoven, Mendelssohn and Brahms. For over 30 years she's lugged these silly records from room to room, worn smooth. Or did she never play them? There is no record deck. Did they carry some secret? Was there some tiny speck of Annabelle embedded in these things? I turn them over. 30 years, and here they are in an almost empty bedroom. I look round the room. There is the bed, the cupboard, the wardrobe, a carpet on the floor, and a low window looking out to the street beyond the tree. This is where she stayed for years, locked in some struggle with another woman, grimly unhappy, dying in jerky stages. Why do the records puzzle me so much? I put them down. Maybe they were the first things she really made her own. Here in my hands are Annabelle's first real choices as a growing girl. And last week she had them still on her dressing table in a room without a player. 3 years ago she stood in my bedroom, touched the bed and smiled, giggled at my pictures, remembering when she painted them. I put my arm around her enormous waist and squeezed a little, trying to imagine who she was. Was there somewhere inside this mass the little girl I used to play with? Her hair feels full of sand. It's regrown so many times. Her bottom's vast. I could write a book of poems on its acreage. Yet the voice is Annabelle's. I close my eyes. There is a slender girl in a field on a summer day. She bends to watch a butterfly. Long white tights into a tiny patch of black lace and a bright red miniskirt. She skips over the grass towards the hedge. Is there somewhere inside this massive carcass of disease that little girl? She comes again to see me and sits in the garden. Is she dreaming? Is she in there still? I don't know what to say. I find her body so repulsive. Inside, the disease is multiplying, always pushing outwards, and yet so many years ago we two grew up together, fast and violent, happy and sad, confused and determined, and wrote ourselves across each other's bodies. Now we have nothing to say. But Annabelle is saying things inside herself as she sits in my garden, staring dreamily at the lake. She has a camera, and with slight smile she focuses and paints a picture in trees and water, which she hangs upon some inner wall. For days she comes, dreaming back across so many paintings. She, sitting in my garden, me, working in my study. And then she leaves a sheaf of poems. You'll know when to read them. The next time I see her, she is coughing in the church. I make a rude remark. No quarter given. We grew up together. We will always be together. I'm talking to you, loud across the crowd. I know you hear me, for really, no one else is here. She cannot walk. What can I do? I wish so very much I could take her with me to sit beneath an orange tree in the sun, to sit under a thin curved moon, so much like the curve of hair across her face, where the mountains are dark and curve against the midnight blue, and the dogs bark on the dark terraces, and the scent of orange blossom drifts on the cool night air. And the bright yellow light streams from the cottage window, and somewhere in the east the small sea breathes as a wave suddenly turns over against the sand, while above so many stars have come to tell your fortune. If only I could take you to sit in your painting where once we slept all night and woke with orange blossom in our hair. I reached to pick a golden apple, placed it between your breasts, and back in your studio you painted our wonky little house with the light shining out through a grove of oranges to prove to all the world that things are made of magic. But she is frightened and doesn't want to see me. This time she knows she cannot fight. For the first time in my life I need to say something, but cannot speak. All words fade without meaning. They line up, ready to speak, but not a single word has anything to say. I pace about, frantically searching for some meaning that will be a bridge to join us. But every word I use crumbles at the sight of death. I will send her an empty sheet of paper, no words on it, but it came from me. I screw it up and throw it on the floor. I carefully craft a silly song, 3 lines long. It is the last thing I shall ever say to you. It is utterly meaningless, but you will understand. And my daughter said you smiled. Is that really you, Annabelle, in a narrow box on wheels? I look about the room, but can't feel you anywhere. I read your tiny poems to the congregation and wonder who the girl is. Then turn, stare at the box. Safe journey, Annabelle, and wonder if you're going anywhere. The box disappears behind a curtain, taking your half of me. I walk about my rooms. I don't miss you because you'd left so many years ago. It's just that so many pieces of me now no longer work, and I cannot help but talk to you. I draw the curtains, turn, and mutter about going to bed. I think I heard you say you wanted to finish your painting. You are kneeling on the floor, a brush teasing some paint. I bend down, look over your shoulder, draw 2 fingers through your hair like a paintbrush, pushing the paint about. Then go to bed and fall asleep. You will always be here while I am here. The part you left behind, and I must take good care of you because it's me. And one day, when I am dead, you too will fall asleep.